Now, WSLS 10 Sports.
Salem's Coleman Fox, our first and 10 player of the year, and offensive lineman Zach Hoyt to Virginia Tech this morning. The Spartans football team sends 4 more to VMI, and Isaiah Parker, Tyler Feddison, Cody Paragoy, Austin Cowling, and Kyle Rygard to Charleston Southern as well. One of the most dynamic athletes in the city of Roanoke, Warren Kraft, the Colonel star wide receiver and point guard, might end up being a dual sports star in Charlottesville, but for now, he's a wide receiver for Coach Mike London. Kennedy Nwabia is headed to the University of Dayton to play Division I soccer in the A-10 conference. The striker was named the VIS Division II Soccer Player of the Year.
We're here in Richmond at the Siegel Center for a big boys state title matchup and a big day for the South Side. Dan River and Martinsville playing for the boys 2A state title.
Time is running out, but William Fleming got the ball back. Quishana King to the rack, block, lot of contact right there, no call, 58-57. They fall by a single point. Christiansburg enters the VHSL State Wrestling Tournament seeking a 14th straight title. The only question, would the lack of consolation brackets because of the weather-shortened format stop them, or was there a competitor out there able to get it done? How about Northside senior Brandon Robinson, who dominated from the opening whistle, recording a first-period fall with that far side cradle. But in the 3A ranks, it's Christiansburg with titles by Hunter Bolin and Creed Lump at 152. They go on to win their 14th consecutive title, that in the 3A ranks.
Sports director John Appicello is live in Charlotte. Appy, what can you tell us about these Who's?
You want to reach March Madness, Jonathan, playing your best basketball, and frankly, that's not been the case for UVA. As you know, they've had a tremendous regular season, but they've lost 2 of their last 3. So they're trying to recapture that chemistry that allowed them one of the best regular seasons out there, and of course, they were conference regular season champs.
Well, coming into today's race, there were a lot of favorites. No doubt you can't come to Martinsville without mentioning Denny Hamlin in the 11 car. Over the past couple of years, he's been bitten by a little bit of bad luck, but today that ended. Denny took the lead late in the race, and he didn't look back. The 11 car back in victory lane.
Floyd County girls making their 3rd appearance in 3 years, taking on Page County. Scoreless bottom of the 3rd. Kayla Burnett, big hit up the middle. Elena Hodge gonna try to score, collision at the plate. She's out. We're at the 4A semifinals from Liberty University. This is Gracie Davidson at the plate. Monster mash, deep right center field. It nearly gets out. That is up against the wall, deep enough to plate the run.
It's the Spring Jubilee, and area teams are all playing their last game of the season in the state championships with a title on the line. We'll get you up to date starting with softball. Perry McClure is one of those programs having a special year. It's Coach Troy Clark's first year as head coach, and the Fighting Blues had a chance to clinch a 1A softball title. Taking on Rappahannock, a team they've beat in regional play. 3rd inning, runners on 2nd and 3rd. Caitlin Bradley turns the double play and gets them out of the inning. More offense from the Mustangs. They would attack again, this time. Nice save by Martinsville's keeper, Josh Penn, but it was not enough. George Mason would win in a 4-0 shutout. And more girls tennis. Cave Spring winning the state championship with a 5-3 victory over Western Albemarle. Hidden Valley and Blacksburg boys in a rematch of last year's final. The Bruins won 5-4, clinching their first team title in school history.
The big names are out early. Bubba Watson and Tiger Woods tee off tomorrow at 7.
Should be interesting, of course, coming up at 6. If you guys are familiar with the Scott Robertson every year, you also know about the first tee of Roanoke, so we'll check in with them. It's Wednesday, otherwise known as Pro-Am Day at the Greenbrier, and our own Alyssa Ray spent the day in White Sulphur Springs tracking down the stars.
The Pro-Am at the Greenbrier was packed full of notable people. From the golf world to reality TV, there was plenty of excitement on the old white course. Tiger Woods had an early tee time and wrapped up his round on 18. Shaquille O'Neal, an NBA legend, chatted it up with the NBA logo, Jerry West, before hitting the links with Greenbrier owner Jim Justice and new golf pro emeritus Lee Trevino.
See, Shaq, you don't have to be big, see, to dunk on you.
Actually, my favorite guy here is Lee Trevino. I like talking to legends about old stories. I was telling somebody the other day that, Mr. West made me a greater player, not by working me up, just by telling me stories.
As Shaq showed us, basketball skills don't necessarily translate well on the golf course.
Now, we've had a lot of different things. We've had hat reveals. We've had people make choices. Now we have the visor and the jersey reveal from the family. That is awesome. Okay, obvious question. Why'd you choose the Demon Deacons?
I chose Demon Deacons because it was a great education school, plus it's close to home, so my players, friends, and coaches come watch me play.
Both have rugged starts to their seasons. It's there that we start our college football coverage for 2015 from the ACC meetings in North Carolina.
I'm Melissa Ray here at the Pinehurst Resort for the 2015 ACC football kickoff. Today, the student athletes spoke to the media, and for Virginia Tech, many questions were about their season opener against defending national champions Ohio State. We caught up with quarterback Michael Brewer, who says they're excited for the rematch of last year's win.
To Wake Forest.
Welcome back to Magna Vista. Travion Red has just chosen Wake Forest. He'll be a Demon Deacon shortly, but he's got a year to play at Magna Vista. Someone has got to be pretty excited they're getting a great football player when he's finished here.
I'm Melissa Ray at the Bon Secours Training Center in Richmond for Redskins training camp. It's the 7th day of camp, and it's the first day that they'll be practicing with the Houston Texans. While it's the Texans' first year to come to Redskins training camp, it's also Kyshawn Jarrett's first year here. Washington's rookie safety from Virginia Tech is getting used to the change.
I feel like the transition is, going over good, with the veterans, they're helping me out, leading me in a positive way.
Frankly, revenge matches are usually reserved for in-state rivals and conference rivals, but this one has taken on a life of its own. Alyssa Ray joins me now. She's very familiar with the Buckeyes rivalries. This one in just 1 year, due to circumstances, I suppose, has gone kind of crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. It's unusual for Ohio State to get so amped up about a game against an unranked team, unless it's rival Michigan, obviously. But Coach Beamer has made it very clear they need to get the upset here against the #1 team for the program's sake. That's something they have yet to do. And as far as Urban Meyer goes, he's crafty enough to use this situation to motivate his team.
Alyssa, you touched on it. Ohio State is kind of in that scary situation because they've got a whole lot to lose. Hokies maybe not as much.
Right. I mean, it was the main argument trying to keep them out of the playoffs by some last year, saying their loss was to a team that finished 6-6 in the regular season. How are we going to let them be in the playoffs? They did make it in, but they don't forget that.
Well, they certainly haven't. And this is a big ball game tonight for Virginia Tech. And an unofficial Piedmont District title. Both teams expecting to make lengthy playoff runs in their respective classifications. Alyssa told the tale at 6 of Magna Vista's lone loss on their way to that 3A state title was this game. Alyssa, was the payback in the works tonight?
Not quite, but I'm just chomping at the bit to tell you this. See, I play along. Nice. The game has become quite the rivalry in recent years. This year is just one and the same.
Patrick, a lot of anticipation to hear from the coach, and frankly, this is the most sports media I've seen on this campus in my 10 years here in Southwest Virginia. I think a lot of people wondering about the timing of this, and they would really like to hear from the coach as to the specific reasons as to why exactly now. All right, Linz, the last time the Hokies hired a new head football coach, December 22nd, 1986. For context, Vinny Testaverde won the Heisman earlier that month. Thanks to the longtime stability of Coach Frank Beamer's program, it was by no means a routine day in Blacksburg. And then there's his defensive coordinator. Alyssa Ray joins us with more.
Yeah, Abby, well, Bud Foster's name's been thrown in the mix for a few head coaching positions, namely the Illinois position.
Meanwhile, the power of one has no equal this season. Appomattox in their first ever state final versus Clark County. This was a team on a mission with an entire community along. The game turned when Appomattox put the hammer down in the final quarter. Philip Fleshman high-stepping it home, 28-6. Then senior Devin Dews coming up playing some defense with what would be a pick 6 and reason to be excited. The Raiders, there he goes. The Raiders were on their way to a 42-6 win and the school's first ever VHSL state football title. We're back at the home of the new Roanoke Rail Yard Dogs. Yes, that's the new name of the new team entering the Southern Professional Hockey League beginning next fall. And here's a look at what they will look like when they take the ice next fall. The public unveiling just moments ago of the Rail Yard Dogs, the colors, the logo, and the name. The public is here, and a huge crowd, frankly. Between 500 and 1,000 fans, that's a rough estimate, are here as signups for season tickets are indeed underway. And here is the man of the moment. It is President Bob McGinn, who makes hockey a reality again in the Star City.
I think Roanoke is star for hockey. It's a great community. Our boys and myself came down in May. We walked around. Everybody was friendly. The city's beautiful. And we just said, you know what? We got to look at this serious.
It might be difficult to pinpoint the exact moment, but sometime in his 29 years at Virginia Tech, Frank Beamer became more than just a football coach. He brought Hokie Nation together in good times and in bad, and became a leader on campus.
Wow, what are you talking? Oh my goodness.
It's for that reason why it should surprise no one that the WSLS 10 thank you banner, signed by students and fans at the Volume 2 bookstore, became banners plural. It's just part of the outpouring of appreciation for Coach Beamer by Virginia Tech fans.
Well, there is another one behind there.
Yeah, and that one's full too.
This is unbelievable.
Coach, has it sunk in how many, like, the outpouring of emotion you've had?
It's been amazing. You know, our fans are just unbelievable.
The Independence Bowl was certainly an emotional one in Shreveport. Coach Beamer coaching his final game at his alma mater and where he's coached since 1987. The 23-year bowl streak started in that stadium. And here's the man of the hour taking the field for the last time, honored with fireworks as he runs out of the tunnel. But Tulsa wasn't handing out any freebies. In the first minute of the game, D'Angelo Brewer on the 48-yard run will put the Golden Hurricane on the board early. They go up 7-0. Hokies immediately respond to handoff to Trayvon McMillan, and he is gone. He takes this one sideline for the score to tie it up 7-7. The Cadets certainly got their workout in this one, lots of push-ups. Still in the first, though, Brewer connects with Isaiah Ford. He brings it into the house. He finished with 227 receiving yards and 1 touchdown. And wait for it, he'll cap this one off with a little dance with his buddy Cam Phillips. And what would Beamer's last game be without Beamer ball? Greg Stroman on the punt return. He takes the 67 yards for the TD, and Tulsa would make a run in the second half to get within 3, but the Hokies pulled out the win for Coach. WSLS 10 Sports Director John Appicello is in Shreveport with more.
It didn't start out as a typical game in the Frank Beamer era. An offensive shootout has never been in the Beamer ball blueprint. But eventually, defense and special teams resurfaced at just the right time to send the legendary coach out victorious.
We haven't been in many games like this. Usually when we get to score as many points as we did tonight, it's usually a done deal. But I give them credit, and we needed a big play. I mean, you know, if you give that kid time to throw to those receivers, there are going to be a lot of completions, which they had. And the best way to combat that is get him sacked.
You know, we told him there at the beginning of the game, if we can keep getting big chunks in the run game, that it would really open things up, make it easier in pass protection. And we felt like if we could get some time, we could get our guys, you know, Isaiah and Bucky in particular, open down the field. And, you know, you saw that.
That's definitely our mentality. Going into every game is to score a lot of points. We're going to just prepare for each opponent every week and try to prepare and score as much points as we can.
Coach Beamer leaves with 280 career victories, 238 at Virginia Tech. And he passes the torch to Coach Fuente with a ton of offensive talent returning, as both the stat sheet and the scoreboard indicate. In Shreveport, John Appicello, WSLS 10 Sports.